There comes a moment when the air feels dense, your mind becomes foggy, and suddenly, without warning, that high-pitched, piercing ringing cuts through your ear. But today, we're going to break one of the biggest misconceptions about this phenomenon. Because while most people believe every ear ringing is a divine signal, here's the uncomfortable truth. Not all ringing comes from the light. Some of it is interference, intentional, targeted, strategic. And if you, watching this right now, are someone with the letter M on your palm, or that perfect crescent moon mark that sets you apart, you've likely been a target, more times than you even realize. This is not a theory. This is a spiritual reality that most won't dare speak about. Because spiritual warfare is not always loud. It's not always dramatic. It doesn't always come in the form of nightmares or obvious bad luck. Sometimes it starts with a subtle frequency distortion, a sound. You believe it's another awakening sign, but the truth is, its purpose is the exact opposite. Its mission? To destabilize your energy field, to lower your vibration, to cloud your intuition, and to block the next decision that would have moved you closer to your purpose. Let's go deeper. First, how do you know when the ringing is not divine? Pay close attention to the emotional state that follows the tone. True divine ringing leaves you with a strange clarity, a heightened sense of awareness. You might feel temporarily disoriented, but soon after, you feel connected, charged, even if you don't fully understand why. But interference ringing, it leaves you drained. You'll notice your body feels heavier. You struggle to focus. Anxiety rises for no apparent reason. Suddenly, thoughts of fear, doubt, and worst-case scenarios flood your mind. This isn't by accident. It's a tactic. Spiritual blockers, entities that operate in lower dimensions, us, primary tools against chosen ones. Why? Because they know the truth. Chosen ones, especially those marked with the M and the crescent moon, are frequency sensitive. We live, feel, and navigate reality through energetic codes. So what's the most effective way to disorient someone who uses frequency as their compass? You distort the signal. You scramble the message. You inject noise where there should be clarity. And let me tell you something even more direct. If lately, you've been hearing ringing that leaves you emotionally drained, accompanied by sudden waves of hopelessness, I want you to pause right now and ask yourself, what important decision have I been delaying? Because the interference almost always comes right before a spiritual breakthrough. It's not random timing. They monitor your energy spikes. They sense when your auric field is preparing for expansion, and the moment your vibration starts to rise, that's when they happen. Chosen ones with the M and crescent moon. You've been targeted for this type of interference since childhood. Think back. How many times did you have sudden ringing episodes right before you were about to stand up for yourself? Right before you were about to end a toxic friendship? Or just before you were going to say yes to something that scared you, but felt right? That wasn't coincidence. It was calculated. Because the enemy of your destiny doesn't want you confident, doesn't want you clear-headed, and most importantly, doesn't want you aligned. And now that you're older, the tactics have evolved. The ringing may come in waves, at night, during meditation, or worse, right in the middle of making an important decision. And the more you ignore the signs, the stronger the interference becomes. You might start experiencing other symptoms too. Sudden memory lapses, feeling emotionally numb, random arguments erupting with people you love, out of dizziness moments after the ringing fades. All of this is part of the blocker strategy. Their goal is simple: keep you in delay mode. Because every day you hesitate, every day you doubt, every day you sit paralyzed, is another day your divine timeline stays out of reach. So now that we've pulled back the curtain on this hidden opponent, The real question becomes, what can you do about it? That's exactly what we're going to unpack in the next section. We'll dive deep into the spiritual defense mechanisms you already carry within you, even if you've forgotten how to use them. And we'll also explore how to tell without a doubt whether the next ringing you hear is an interference trying to block you, or a divine call trying to guide you. Because from this point forward, you're going to walk with awareness. You're going to recognize the enemy's tactics, and you're going to reclaim your energetic authority. Now that you know the truth about something most people never get taught: spiritual discernment. Because here's the thing, when you're chosen, you don't just receive messages from the light. You also become visible to forces that want you confused. So how do you tell the difference? Let's start with something simple but powerful. Your body will always tell the truth. Pay close attention to what happens in your physical state right after the ringing starts. Here's what interference usually feels like within seconds to minutes after the tone. Tightness in your chest, sudden stomach discomfort, feeling like you can't catch your breath, unexplainable mood drops, a rush of fear without reason. Meanwhile, when the ringing is divine, the feeling is different. You'll feel lightheaded but not scared. A strange, warm wave of peace follows. You might even get goosebumps. Your mind clears up rather than fogs. You'll feel drawn to journal, pray, or reflect. The energy following the tone. Go further. Another way interference disguises itself is by triggering mental loop traps immediately after the tone. What's a mental loop trap? It's when, after the ringing, your mind starts obsessively replaying negative thoughts. I'm not good enough. I'll never figure this out. Maybe I'm going crazy. Why does this always happen to me? That's not you thinking. That's frequency poisoning. Spiritual blockers send subtle vibrational codes embedded inside the tone. Their goal? To hijack your mental space and reroute your emotional state before you have time to ground yourself. And if you've been experiencing this repeatedly, listen closely. It's not your fault. You're not weak. You're sensitive because you're powerful. Because you were born as a receptor for higher frequencies, and that makes you a target. Now, let's talk solutions. There are 3 immediate spiritual countermeasures you can activate the moment you sense that the ringing. Grounding. The fastest way to neutralize a negative frequency is to produce your own sound wave that reclaims your energetic space. That means hum out loud. Chant a simple vowel like Om or Ah. Or if you're alone, let out a deep, sustained tone from your throat. The goal here isn't to sound beautiful, it's to create a vibrational wave that cuts through the interference. Sound is your shield. 2. Water touch activation. Water holds neutralizing properties for energy distortion. If the ringing leaves you dizzy or mentally scattered, go straight to a sink. Splash cold water on your face and the back of your neck. Or, if you can, submerge your hands in running water for at least 30 seconds. This resets your biofield and breaks short-term interference locks. 3. Physical anchoring. Immediately place your bare feet on the ground. Grass, soil, concrete, even a wooden floor if needed. Imagine the distorted energy draining from your body, flowing. Grounding energy flows back up into your legs and spine. If you're indoors, even sitting with your back against a wall and pressing your palms against the floor can help stabilize your field. Now, here's the next level of awareness. The interference doesn't just target your ears. It will often escalate, trying to manipulate people around you, to pull you back into old cycles. You'll notice sudden arguments with friends or family, unexpected mood swings in people close to you, technical malfunctions whenever you try to meditate or journal, or dreams where shadowy figures, faceless crowds, or distorted voices try to confuse you. These are all signs that the interference moved from frequency-level attack to environmental manipulation. And here's why that happens. The moment a chosen one starts recognizing the frequency tricks, the blockers switch tactics. They try external disruption. But you're not defenseless. Quite the opposite. You, Moon. You were born with a spiritual firewall most people don't have. Your markings are not random. They're energetic sigils, imprinted on your physical body to remind you that even when interference hits, you have the tools to reclaim your space. And here's the final key for this block. You're not imagining the pattern. If the ringing always comes right before your most important life moments, it's because the blockers can feel your breakthrough before you even know it's coming. But in the next section, we're going to move from defense to activation. I'm going to share how to use the very same sound, the one sent to confuse you, as fuel to catapult yourself into even higher alignment. Because sometimes the best revenge is turning their interference into your awakening. So, we've exposed the interference, we've named the tactics, we've decoded the symptoms, but now it's time for something much more important. Taking your power B. Spiritual blockers want you to believe is that you're powerless, that you're at the mercy of the frequencies they send, that you're just a passive receiver of random signals. But that's not true, not even close. The moment you recognize interference for what it is, you've already begun breaking its control. Awareness is the first layer of defense, and from this point forward, you're going to stop reacting and start commanding. Let's begin with something most people overlook. Your response determines your frequency. Yes, the ringing arrives without warning, but how you respond in the first 60 seconds determines whether that frequency settles or gets neutralized. So here's what I want you to start doing from this day forward. When the ringing hits, before you spiral into fear, pause, close your eyes, and say either silently or out loud, "This is my energy field. I choose what stays. I choose what leaves." That one declaration, shift, interference thrives on, is your unconscious agreement. Every time you panic, every time you fall into confusion, every time you let fear grow unchecked, you're giving it access. But when you pause and consciously reclaim your space, you interrupt the cycle. And here's the deeper truth. Your body, your spirit, and your auric field already carry codes designed to transmute lower frequencies, especially if you carry the M and the Crescent moon. Let me explain why. For generations, chosen ones like you were born with an internal spiritual filtration system. Think of it as a bio-spiritual firewall. But here's the catch. It only activates when used intentionally. You have to engage it. So here's a 3-step spiritual transmutation process that I want you to start using from today on. Whenever the interference tone hits, step 1, conscious breath reset. The first reaction of interference is to disrupt your breath rhythm. Shallow breathing. Soon as you hear the ringing, inhale deeply through your nose for a count of 5. Hold the breath for 5 seconds. Then exhale slowly for 7 seconds through your mouth. Do this at least 3 times in a row. What you're doing is reprogramming your vagus nerve, which helps regulate emotional stability and anchors you back into your body. Step 2, frequency reversal command. This is where it gets powerful. With your eyes still closed, visualize a bright, pulsing sphere of light at the center of your chest. With each exhale, see this light expanding, pushing outwards, forcing out any distorted energy lingering in your field. Then, either out loud or silently, say, "I now reverse any lower frequency sent toward me. I return it to its source, purified, transformed, and powerless against me. This isn't about revenge. It's about energy sovereignty. You're sending back neutralized energy, devoid of harm, so that it cannot cycle back to you or others. Stay. Affirmation. Once your breath and energy field are stabilized, finish the process by affirming your chosen timeline. Say, I align fully with my highest timeline. I walk in clarity. I operate in divine protection. I move forward, unstoppable and untouchable. The power in these words isn't just psychological. Spoken with intent, they recalibrate your entire vibrational frequency. And now, let's address something you've probably been wondering about. Why you? Why are you being targeted so heavily when others around you seem unaffected? Here's the truth most won't tell you. Because you're a disruptor. Your energy doesn't just affect you. It alters the grids around you. When you step into alignment, you become a ripple effect for others. You've probably already noticed this without realizing. When you're in a good energetic space, people around you suddenly open up emotionally. Strangers start telling you their life stories. Friends saw when you're under attack. Everyone around you seems more irritable, more reactive, more off-center. That's not coincidence. You are a frequency anchor. And every time you realign yourself, you help stabilize the spiritual environment around you. That's why the interference keeps coming. Because every time you level up, you threaten the existing low-vibration structures. You destabilize fear-based energy patterns just by being in the room. And that makes you a high-value target. But it also makes you a force to be reckoned with. So from now on, when the ringing comes, instead of thinking, why is this happening to me? Start saying, this is happening because something powerful is about to shift through me. And here's something else I want you to start doing. After each interference episode, document what happens in your life within the next 48 hours. You'll start seeing a pattern, opportunities that arrive, conversations, that clear old wounds, because sometimes the interference is actually a sign that something big is about to unlock. And now, for those of you who want to go even deeper, here's a spiritual visualization practice I recommend doing at least once a week during high interference periods. The Golden Dome Activation. 1. Sit comfortably. 2. Close your eyes and take 5 deep breaths. 3. Visualize a giant golden dome forming over your entire body. 4. See this dome expanding with each breath, stretching past your home, your neighborhood, your entire city. 5. Feel the inside of the dome filled with warmth, peace, and high-frequency light. 6. Say internally, I call forth divine shielding. Only energies aligned with my highest good may enter this space. 7. Stay in that visualization for at least 5 minutes. This technique is ancient, used by spiritual warriors for centuries to repel unseen attacks and strengthen energetic fields. Now, before we move into, leave you with one more truth. You are not here by accident. You are not broken. You are not cursed. You are not being punished. You are a spiritual disruptor, walking through a world that profits from your confusion, but fears your clarity. And every time you hear that ringing, every time interference comes, it's because your next level is already calling you. You didn't find this message by mistake. You didn't watch this far by coincidence. So here's what I want you to do next. Take this knowledge and apply it. Start observing. Start documenting. Start reclaiming your space. And if you feel called, share below in the comments. What signs, what patterns, what moments of interference have you been experiencing lately? Let this be a space of community decoding, where other chosen ones can read your story and recognize their own. Because from this point on, the blockers will still try, but you will never again wall. Master how to win it. And now, we arrive at the final layer of this message, the part most people avoid, because it requires one thing that few are truly ready to give: commitment to their own awakening. We've talked about interference. We've exposed the tactics. We've decoded the symptoms. We've even armed you with tools to defend and realign your energy. But there's something else you need to hear. This ringing, this spiritual interference, isn't just a random inconvenience in your life. It's a test of readiness. Because every chosen one, before stepping into their next level of purpose, will face a final gatekeeper. And that gatekeeper is self-doubt, amplified by external spiritual noise. Think about it. The ringing comes right before you make that big decision, right before you finally cut ties with what's been draining you, right before you choose yourself for the first time in years. That's not coincidence. That's pattern. And Pat, here's something most people never realize. The longer you stay indecisive, the more aggressive the interference becomes. Why? Because your hesitation feeds it. Every day you delay stepping forward, the spiritual blockers grow stronger in your field. But every time you choose action, even small action, you start cutting off their access. Because motion is their weakness. They thrive in stagnation. They multiply in your moments of pause, fear, and overthinking. But when you move, when you speak, when you create, when you choose alignment, their grip weakens. And here's the most powerful part. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be willing. The universe isn't looking for flawless execution. It's looking for authentic intention. So, if you've been stuck, if this ringing has been haunting you, if your sleep has been disturbed, if your mood has been swinging without cause, if you've been questioning your own sanity, point right here, right now, in this moment. Close your eyes for just a few seconds. Breathe in, and as you exhale, repeat silently in your mind, I am no longer available for interference. Feel that. Own it. Anchor it. And now, for the final and most important instruction I'll leave you with today. You must speak your truth. If this message resonated, if it triggered something inside you, if you've had moments while watching where you felt like the words were written for you, then this is not where your journey with this information ends. I want you to leave a comment below, but not just any comment. I want you to write 1. What interference symptoms you've been facing. 2. What realization this video gave you. 3. What your next small act of alignment will be in the next 24 hours. Do this for yourself, because writing it down publicly is not just participation, it's activation. When you speak it, you bring it into field. And when others read your words, your energy will help them awaken too. That's how chosen ones light each other's paths without even knowing each other's names. And if, while scrolling, you see another comment that resonates with your story, send them a word of encouragement. Reply with a simple, I see you. Stay strong. Because this space, this community, isn't here by accident. We are frequency holders, grid stabilizers, timeline anchors, spiritual disruptors, and together, without even realizing it fully yet, we're shifting this planet, one awakened soul at a time. So the next time the ringing comes, smile, because now you know exactly what it is, you know why it's happening, and you know what to do next. No more fear, no more confusion, no more delay. You're ready. And the universe has been waiting for this version of you for a very, very long time.